The night before the college entrance exam, my homeroom teacher Zhou Mingyuan sent me a message. After you enter the exam room tomorrow, don't write your name first. First, look at the invigilator's left hand. I stared at the screen 3 times. Just as I was about to type and ask him what he meant, the message was recalled. Then came another message. Make sure not to write your name. And then blocked me. I sat on the bed in my rented room, clutching that old phone with only 23 battery left, my mind full of question marks. Teacher Zhou had been with our class for 3 years. He didn't talk much on a daily basis, but he never said anything without a point. Why did he post that? Why did he delete it? Why did he block me? From outside the window came the noise of the mahjong parlor downstairs, mixed with the occasional crackle of firecrackers in the distance. The June night was muggy and damp. I turned over and shoved my phone under the pillow. Forget it. Tomorrow is the first day of the college entrance exam. Chinese language. I, Shen Nian, have waited 12 years for this opportunity. There's no way I'll lose my composure over some inexplicable message. But I can't sleep. At 2 in the morning, I pulled out my phone again. In the message history, Teacher Zhou's profile picture had already turned into the system's default gray. First, look at the invigilator's left hand. Left hand. What are you looking at? I turned over and forced myself to close my eyes. At 5:43, I woke up before the alarm went off. I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror while washing my face. Dark circles under the eyes. Lips chapped and dry. The faucet in the rental apartment dripped incessantly, water stains trickling down the yellowed tiles. I picked up my admission ticket and transparent stationery pouch and headed out. The exam venue was set at the neighboring school Jincheng No. 1 middle school. The school gate was already packed with people. There were more parents than examinees. Some mothers wore cheongsams, symbolizing a victorious start. Some fathers held sunflowers, saying it meant topping the list in one go. I was alone. I've been alone since I was a child. Queue up to enter. Go through security. And find your assigned seat. The exam room is on the 3rd floor. Classroom 302. The window is open, and the fan creaks as it spins. Completely useless. I sat in the second to last row by the window, opened my pencil case, and arranged the items in order: 2 black pens, one as a backup, a 2B pencil, an eraser, and a ruler. The examinees around me were all bowing their heads in silent last-minute recitation. No one speaking. At 8:40, 2 invigilators pushed the door open and entered. One was a female teacher, around 40 years old, with a round face, gold-rimmed glasses, and a gentle smile. Another one, a man, young, around 27 or 28, wearing a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up to his forearms. As he stepped onto the podium, I instinctively glanced at his left hand. Teacher Zhou's words stuck in my mind like a thorn. Impossible to ignore. It was just that one glance. I saw it. On his left wrist, there was a dark red string tied. It's not a decorative red string. The string was very thin. Its color dull, as if it had been soaked in something and then dried. The knot was tied on the inside of the wrist, right where the pulse beats. My fingers tightened slightly. Maybe it's just a bracelet. Maybe it's just a personal habit. But why did Teacher Zhou specifically want me to see it? The female invigilator began reading the exam rules. The male invigilator stood on the right side of the podium, hands behind his back, scanning the entire room. When his gaze swept over my row, it paused for a moment. Very short. So short that I'm not sure if it's my imagination. Now distributing the test papers and answer sheets. The female proctor picked up the craft paper bag, and the male proctor began handing them out from the first row onward. As he passed each table, his left hand hung naturally at his side, the dark red string faintly visible. It was my turn. He placed the exam paper and answer sheet on my desk. The moment his fingertips touched the table, he said something in an extremely low voice. The voice was pressed extremely low, as if squeezed out from the throat. Don't write the name. 3 words. Exactly the same as the message Teacher Zhou sent. I jerked my head up. He had already moved on to the next row. His back was straight, his pace steady. As if nothing had happened. I stared at the Chinese exam paper in front of me, and my palms began to sweat. A proctor I had never met before said the exact same thing as my homeroom teacher. This was no coincidence. This was a warning. At exactly 9 o'clock. The exam bell rang. 300 exam halls. Pens touching paper simultaneously. I grip my pen, staring at the name column on the answer sheet. The sound of turning test papers around me surges like a tide. The girl in front has already started writing her name. The boy on the left is also filling in his exam registration number. Only I have my pen hovering in midair. If I don't write my name, this exam paper will be invalid. If I do write my name, what then? The hand holding my pen trembled slightly. Then I made a decision. With the tip of my pen, I wrote 4 words very lightly and very small in the blank space above the name column on the answer sheet. Message received. Understood. After finishing the writing, I started working on the questions. The name column was left blank. 40 minutes later, I finished the reading comprehension section, progressing faster than usual. It wasn't because the questions were easy, but because all my attention was activated by a certain sense of tension. Every few minutes, I unconsciously look up at the male invigilator. He stands on the left side of the podium, holding a patrol logbook, occasionally walking around the classroom. The third time he passed my seat, his pace noticeably slowed. His gaze swept across my answer sheet. He saw the blank name field. His expression did not change at all, but he gave a slight nod, almost imperceptible. My heart was racing. I kept my head down and continued working on the problems. At 10:20, there were still 40 minutes left until the exam ended. The female proctor walked to the front of the classroom and answered a phone call. She lowered her voice and said a few words. After hanging up the phone, her expression changed. The smile that had been on her face disappeared. She quickly walked over to the male invigilator and whispered something in his ear. The male invigilator said nothing, but he raised his left hand and unconsciously touched the dark red string on his wrist. I saw it all. After the female proctor finished speaking, she returned to the podium and turned on her phone. Everyone knows that using a phone is not allowed during an exam. She lowered her head and stared at it for a long while, then put her phone away with a very unpleasant expression on her face. I felt that something was happening outside this classroom. Something related to me. 10:40. Rapid footsteps echoed in the corridor. Someone was speaking in low tones outside the examination hall. Their voice intermittent. Are you sure? Examination room 302. Seat no. 28. 28th. I glanced at the seat number on my admission ticket. 28. My heart gave a sudden jolt. I gripped my pen tightly and continued writing my essay. On the surface, not a single word was wrong. But inside, emotions were churning like a stormy sea. They were discussing me outside. Why? At exactly 11 o'clock, the Chinese language exam ended. The bell rang, and the female invigilator announced that pens should be put down when collecting the exam papers. The male invigilator walked up to me. He picked up my answer sheet and saw that the name field was blank. Student, you didn't write your name. His voice was neither too loud nor too soft, just enough for the people in the rows in front and behind to hear. Everyone turned to look. Ah. I forgot. I put on a look of annoyance. You even forgot to write your name. That's way too nervous. Someone nearby whispered. The male invigilator handed the answer sheet back to me. Fill it in. As he said these 3 words, his fingers lightly tapped twice on the edge of the answer sheet. 2 taps. I lowered my head and glanced at the spot he had tapped right at the bottom right corner of the answer sheet. Next to the ceiling line, there was a tiny mark there. So small that it was impossible to notice without looking closely. Drawn in pencil. A small circle with a cross inside. Someone had marked my answer sheet before the exam papers were handed out. Without making a sound, I picked up my pen and filled in my name. The 2 characters Shen Nian were written neatly and clearly. After handing in the exam paper and leaving the examination hall, the corridor was filled with test takers. Some were discussing the difficulty of the questions. while others were making phone calls to reassure their families. I walked to the corner of the staircase and leaned against the wall. My hands were still trembling. Someone has marked my answer sheet. What does that mean? It means someone needed to accurately locate my exam paper before it was graded. They are going to tamper with my college entrance exam scores. I took a deep breath and clenched my admission ticket. 12 years of hard study. From the orphanage to a rented room. From having no extracurricular classes to relying entirely on self-study. From watching others eat supplements while I ate steamed buns. I climbed step by step to the top of the school. I, Shen Nian, have nothing, only this exam paper. And now, someone wants to take this away too. The phone rang. An unfamiliar number. Jiang, sorry, Shen Nian. The person on the other end changed their tune quickly. I'm from the academic affairs office of your school. Your math exam this afternoon has been moved to a different classroom. You've been reassigned to room 308. Just letting you know. Why was the exam room changed? System adjustment. It's not just you. I didn't receive an official notice from the school. A phone call is an official notice. The other party hung up. I looked at my phone and let out a cold laugh. That person almost called me by the wrong name. She almost called me Jiang something. I pressed the call log. The location showed Jincheng City Education Bureau. If a test taker needs to change exam rooms at the last minute, it requires a joint notice from the school's academic affairs office and the exam administration team. It's impossible to handle it with just a single phone call. Moreover, with 3 hours left until the afternoon exam, would there be enough time to print a new exam room distribution chart for a large-scale adjustment? I did not go to room 308. At 1:30 p.m. I went straight back to classroom 302, sitting in seat 28. The female invigilator was taken aback when she saw me. Didn't you receive the notice about the exam room change? No, but the academic affairs office said. I called the academic affairs office, and no one informed me about the change of exam venue. I lied. I hadn't called at all, but I bet she won't verify it on the spot. The female proctor hesitated for a few seconds and flipped through the list on the desk. On the list, the name corresponding to number 28 was clearly written. Shen Nian. All right, then take a seat for now. The male invigilator walked in from outside. His expression unchanged when he saw me, but as he passed by my seat, he slightly curled his index finger. It's like saying, well done. At 2 p.m., the math exam begins. The moment the exam paper was handed out, I flipped to the last page. The last major problem. Number 22. I glanced at it, my fingers slightly freezing. I've seen this question before. It's not similar questions. It's exactly the same question. 3 months ago, the district organized a mock exam. The final question of that mock exam was exactly the same, word for word, as the college entrance exam question in front of me. The person who set the questions for that mock exam. He is the vice principal of our school, Chen Shuheng. And that mock exam was only taken by the top class. Top class. 40 people. If among these 40 people, someone knew in advance that the final exam question for the college entrance exam was the same as the mock exam, what would that mean? Means fraud. Large scale, organized cheating in the college entrance examination. And although I ranked first in the entire school, I was not in the top class. I am in the regular class. Because the elite class required a fee of 20,000 yuan, which I couldn't afford. Teacher Zhou fought with the school for a long time, saying that my grades were good enough to qualify for the top class for free. Chen Shuheng dismissed it with one sentence. Rules are rules. Now I understand. He doesn't want rules. He didn't want me to see that set of mock exam questions, because if I saw it, with my memory, I would definitely recognize it in the college entrance exam. Just like this. I stared at question 22 for 10 seconds. Then he withdrew his gaze and started with the first question, one by one, steady and sure. Finally, when I reached question 22, I used a completely different approach from the one I used in the mock exam. 3 methods. Even the auxiliary lines have changed direction. It's not me showing off. I'm keeping evidence. If all 40 students in the top class solve question 22 in exactly the same way, identical to the mock exam answer key, and only I Shen Nian, who is not in the top class, used a completely different method to arrive at the correct answer, that is the most powerful evidence. The exam is over. Collect the papers. When the male invigilator received my answer sheet, he flipped to the last page and took a look. His eyebrow twitched. Then he put the test paper into a sealed bag without saying a word. When I walked out of the exam hall, the sky had darkened. The tide of parents at the school gate had mostly dispersed. I stood by the roadside waiting for the bus. A black sedan stopped beside me. The car window rolled down. It's that male invigilator. The white shirt was changed, but the dark red string was still tied around the wrist. Get in the car. Who are you? If you don't get in the car now, in 15 minutes, your Chinese answer sheet will be accidentally lost at the grading center. I stood still as the traffic roared past me. How do you know? Because I'm the one responsible for losing it. I got in the car. The passenger seat was very clean, with only an unopened bottle of mineral water placed on it. The car started and merged into the traffic. I look at the road ahead. What's your name? Gu Yen. Gu Yen. Why are you helping me? Who said I was helping you? You told me not to write my name. Then told me to fill it in. You made me see the marks on the answer sheet. You told me someone was going to lose my exam paper. If that's not helping, what is? He didn't answer. The car drove onto the elevated highway. The setting sun shone in through the rearview mirror, and the dark red string on his wrist took on a shade of crimson so deep it was almost black in the light. What is your relationship with teacher Zhou? He finally spoke. Zhou Mingyuan was my high school physics teacher. Where is he now? I don't know. The last person I got in touch with last night was you. After that, his phone was turned off, and he's nowhere to be found. My fingers tightened on the armrest of the seat. You mean, he's missing? To be precise, he was transferred yesterday afternoon. The provincial department issued a transfer order, moving him from Jincheng 3 middle school to a county middle school 800 kilometers away. It took effect that same day, and he had to report immediately, transferring the homeroom teacher away the day before the college entrance exam. So do you think that's normal? I fell silent. It's not normal. Nothing is normal. The marks on the answer sheet are abnormal. The last-minute change of exam venue is abnormal. The college entrance exam questions being the same as the mock exam questions is abnormal. The homeroom teacher being transferred away yesterday is even more abnormal. Did Chen Shuheng do this? He's just one of them. Gu Yen parked the car in front of an old residential building. Where is this? Teacher Zhou asked me to give you something before he left. He took a craft paper envelope from the back seat and handed it to me. There was nothing written on the envelope. I opened it. Inside, there was only a single photograph. The photograph captured a documenta handwritten list. The list contained 42 names, each followed by a string of numbers. At the top, it read, List of candidates for the advance leak of question 22 in the Jincheng Examination District for the 2024 college entrance exam. Among the 42 names, I recognized quite a few. Most of them were students from the top-tier class. There are also a few names belonging to candidates from other schools in the city. In the last line, a name was circled in red. Lin Wanqing, the daughter of the principal of Jincheng 1 middle school. She is also Chen Shuheng's niece. She is also the student ranked second in the citywide mock exam. The first place is me. So the core of this matter has never been about system adjustments or rules. Someone is making sure Lin Wanqing gets first place in the city. And the person standing in her way is me. An orphan from a welfare home. With no background. No support. Get rid of my exam paper. Leak the questions to her, push and pull. Smooth and steady. I turned the photo over. Teacher Zhou's handwriting. There was only one line. Shen Nian. Read this after the exam. But if you're seeing it early, it means I no longer have the chance to tell you in person. Protect yourself. I put the photo back into the envelope. Are you still invigilating tomorrow? They've replaced me tomorrow. Someone noticed I got close to you in the exam hall. The Education Bureau held an emergency meeting tonight and replaced all the invigilators for exam room 302. Then you. I have other ways. He looked ahead. And the night had completely fallen. Shen Nian. You have two choices now. Go on. First, take the exam normally tomorrow and get the score you deserve. Then I'll help you submit that list to the provincial department's discipline inspection. And wait for the investigation results. It might take 3 months. Or half a year. Or it might just vanish without a trace. What's the second? Second, in tomorrow's exam, you not only have to take it, but you also have to score a grade they can't forge. What do you mean by a grade they can't forge? Full marks. He turned his head to look at me. If you only scored 680 or 690, they could tamper with it and change it to 660. Then let Lin Wanqing get 670. Making it seem reasonable. But if you scored 750, a perfect score across all subjects, that result would be announced across the province and made public online. They wouldn't be able to change a single word. I let out a small smile. Not because I found it amusing. I think this path, though crazy, is straightforward enough. Perfect scores across all subjects in the college entrance exam there have only been a handful nationwide over the years. What was your highest score in the mock exams? 738. 12 points short. 7 points deducted for the essay. And 5 points for the English listening. So it's not that you can't get a perfect score, it's that you didn't need one before. I didn't answer. He is right. It wasn't needed before. Now it is needed. Okay. 750. I'll go get it. I pushed open the car door and stepped out. Standing under the streetlight, I turned back to glance at him. Gu Yen, why are you really helping me? What's your connection to all this? He was silent for 2 seconds. I came out of that orphanage too. The car window rolled up, and the black sedan disappeared into the night. I stood still, clutching that craft paper envelope, with the scattered lights of the entire building behind me. Came from the welfare home, just like me, back in the rental room. I didn't turn on the light. Sitting at my desk, I ran through tomorrow's exam subjects English and Science comprehensive in my mind. It wasn't review, but calibration. 5 points lost on the English listening section. And I knew exactly where. It wasn't that I couldn't understand, I had misaligned a row on the answer sheet. A perfect score on Science comprehensive, I had achieved it 4 times. Perfect score in math. The last question on today's test paper had 3 correct solutions. No issues. Perfect score in Chinese. The essay. The essay is always a variable. But if a grading teacher sees an article that is impeccable in structure, argumentation, literary flair, and depth, they will deduct at most 1 point, or even no deduction at all. I know exam-oriented education all too well. For 12 years, I had nothing. No parents, no money, no tutoring classes. I only have a naturally sharp mind and an almost obsessive self-discipline. At 1 in the morning, I closed the last notebook. Lying in bed, I closed my eyes. Strangely enough, I fell asleep faster tonight than last night. Perhaps it's because of having an opponent. A clear opponent that must be defeated. The next day, the second day of the college entrance exam, the English exam venue was changed from room 302 to room 308. It wasn't the system adjustment the Y had mentioned earlier, it was because room 302 had been completely removed. When I walked into room 308, the proctor had indeed been replaced. 2 new faces. There is no Gu Yen. I sat down and glanced around. The desks and chairs in the new exam hall were newer. And the lighting was brighter. 5 minutes before the papers were handed out, my phone vibrated. A text message. From an unfamiliar number. The answer sheet is clean. Feel free to write. No signature. I know who it is. The exam starts at 9 o'clock. English listening. This time, before filling in each option, I lightly traced the position on the answer sheet with my finger. I won't fill in the wrong bubbles anymore. After the listening section, it was followed by reading, close test, grammar, fill in the blanks, error correction, and composition. I went through the entire process without any surprises. I checked it twice at the end. For every question and every option. I was certain there were no mistakes. Time to hand in the paper. Leaving the exam hall. Afternoon comprehensive science exam. Physics. Chemistry. Biology. 3.5 hours. The questions weren't difficult, but there were many traps. I spent extra time carefully checking each multiple-choice question. Each multiple-choice question in the science comprehensive exam was worth 6 points. And missing even one meant losing the chance for a perfect score. When I reached the last physics problem, I paused for 3 seconds. The phrasing of this question is quite unique, completely different from the style of all the usual mock exams and past papers. But the solution is not complicated. I finished writing my answer and put down my pen. There were still 15 minutes left. I did know. Hand in my paper early. Using those 15 minutes, I checked the entire science comprehensive answer sheet from start to finish 3 times. The bell rang. The 2-day college entrance exam was over. When walking out of the exam hall, a few students from Jincheng one high school were chatting by the entrance. The last question in the science comprehensive exam was insane. I gave up on the physics big question directly. Can't even understand it. I think the cutoff for first-tier universities will drop this year. I walked past them without joining the discussion. At the school gate, a girl in a school uniform called out to me, "Are you Shen Nian?" I stopped in my tracks. Lin Wanqing asked me to find out how your exam went. Tell her for me it went okay. That's it. That's it. I turned and continued walking. Behind me, the girl's voice came through as she spoke on the phone. Ching. She said it's okay. Yeah, just 2 words. And her attitude was really cold. Back at the rental apartment, the first thing I did was take that craft paper envelope out from under the pillow. The list on the photo 42 names. I took out a blank sheet of paper and wrote down all 42 names from memory. Then I put the photo back into the envelope, sealed it with tape, and tucked it into a shoebox at the very back of the closet. Just in case. Just in case. There has to be a backup. The phone rang. It's not a text message. It's a phone call. An unfamiliar number. Hello. Shen Nian. I'm Director Wang from the admissions office of the Jincheng City Education Bureau. What's the matter? Here's the thing. While reviewing the exam room surveillance footage, we found that you brought communication devices into the exam room during the Chinese language test, which is a violation of the rules. According to regulations, you need to cooperate with the investigation. I almost burst out laughing. What communication device? I handed over my phone when I went through security. The surveillance footage shows an item resembling an electronic device in your left pocket. That's my sanitary pad. There was silence on the other end of the line. How about pulling up the surveillance footage so I can take a look? By the way, I'd also like to see if your high-definition cameras can tell the difference between a sanitary pad and a phone. Shen Nian. We're just conducting a routine check. When have you ever called examinees for a routine check? Shouldn't an official check come with a written notice? Which exam hall? What time? What's the check number? The other party fell silent again. I recorded it. I didn't record it. But the other party didn't know. Director Wang hung up the phone. I put down my phone and walked over to the window. The sky had already turned completely dark. They had started making their move. I checked the A&S sheet markings useless, because I hadn't written my name on it. Changing the exam venue was useless because I didn't go. Transferring teacher Zhou away did briefly cut off my source of information. But they didn't expect that teacher Zhou had a backup plan, a person named Gu Yan. Now they've started using a cheating investigation to intimidate me. This move is more ruthless than all the previous tactics combined. Because once cheating is confirmed, even if it's just a suspicion, my results can be frozen, reviewed, and delayed from being released. By the time others have been admitted, my results will finally come out even if I'm proven innocent in the end. It will be too late. I need to fight back. But I can't do much on my own. I pulled out my phone and found that text message number. I got a call from the Education Bureau saying I cheated. Sent. 3 minutes later, the reply came. As expected. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. The tea room on the third floor of Jincheng Hotel. Don't bring your phone when you come. I looked out the window. The city lights in the distance flickered on and off. 18 years old. Just finished the college entrance exam. Other classmates are having dinners, partying, and tearing up their books. I'm fighting a battle with a group of adults. At 9:30 the next morning, I left the house. I didn't bring my phone, but I had my admission ticket in my pocket. Jincheng Hotel is the largest state-run hotel in the city, 3 streets away from the municipal government. When I reached the door of the third-floor tea room, I pushed it open and went in. Gu Yan sat by the window. A person sat across from him, with graying hair, gold-rimmed glasses, and a dark gray jacket. He sat with an exceptionally upright posture, around 60 years old. I walked over. Gu Yan stood up. Shen Nian. This is Director Meng from the Provincial Education Department's Supervision Office. The old man looked up at me. His gaze was sharp, but without malice. Sit. I sat down. So you're the student Zhou Mingyuan mentioned. I was just an ordinary student in his class, ranked first in the city in the mock exam, turned down the recommendation for direct admission, and insisted on taking the exam without any preferential treatment. When the recommendation spot was offered to me, it came with a condicionto: give up the naming rights of Jincheng No. 3 High School to Jincheng No. 1 High School. I refused. Director Meng glanced at me. What do you mean? It means that Jincheng No. 1 High School wants to put their school's name on my recommendation materials, so their college admission rate gets an extra spot. Meanwhile, Jincheng No. 3 High School, me actual school, gets nothing. How did you find out about this kind of manipulation? Teacher Zhou told me. He said, your grades are your own, and they shouldn't become someone else's political achievement. Director Meng nodded. I've verified the matter of Zhou Mingyuan being transferred. The transfer order was signed by Zhao Guowei, Deputy Director of the Municipal Education Bureau, who is a college classmate of Chen Shuheng. So this is a Chen Shuheng. Zhao Guowei. Lin Wanqing. It doesn't stop there. Director Meng took a document out of his briefcase. The 22nd question in this year's college entrance exam math paper is identical, word for word, to the final question in the joint mock exam for the top class in Jincheng City 3 months ago. Do you know the process for setting the college entrance exam questions? The provincial question setting team drafts the questions, and they work in a closed environment. Correct. This year's math question setting team had 7 members. One of them was Lu Zhengyang, the former head of the math teaching and research group at Jincheng No. 1 High School, who retired last year, and the mock exam paper was nominally set by Chen Shuheng, but the actual writer, it's also Lu Zhengyang. You guessed it. It wasn't a guess. The final problem in that mock exam used a very obscure construction method. That method only appeared in a teaching paper Lu Zhengyang published 10 years ago. I checked. Behind Director Meng's glasses, his eyes narrowed slightly. Gu Yan sat beside him, remaining silent the whole time, but now the corner of his mouth twitched slightly. You checked. When I was working on the problem, I felt that the structure of that final question didn't seem like it came from a conventional teaching and research team. I searched the database of final questions from national math competitions and college entrance exams over the past 20 years and found no match. Then I looked up all e-papers published by math teachers in Jincheng City. Hold on. Director Meng interrupted me. You said you looked up all the math teachers' papers. Yes. Published. Searchable on CNKI. A total of 327 papers. You read 327 papers. No need to read them all. Filtered by keywords, construction method, plus inequality, plus auxiliary function. Leaving 11 papers. Then compared the problem-solving approaches and narrowed it down to Lu Zhengyang's article published in the 3rd issue of 2014's Reference for Middle School Mathematics Teaching. Director Meng put down the documents in his hand. Zhou Mingyuan told me that you are the most intelligent student he has encountered in his 20 years of teaching. I just have a good memory. That's not something a good memory can explain. I didn't respond. Director Meng was silent for a moment. Shen Nian. I didn't come here just to verify the situation. The provincial department has already filed a case. But the investigation takes time. And gathering evidence requires a process. During this time, your grades. They will freeze my grades. They've already submitted the application. The reason is a suspicion of exam misconduct. What violation? What did I do? Someone reported that you were whispering and bringing cheat sheets during the Chinese exam. The report era candidate in the front row of exam room 302. What's the name? Anonymous report. Where's the surveillance footage? The surveillance in exam room 302 experienced a video interruption at the 42-minute mark of the Chinese exam. Lasting 11 minutes. Everything returned to normal after it was restored. I clenched my fists. An 11-minute gap in the surveillance footage. Enough for them to say anything. Enough for them to do anything. Including making marks on my answer sheet in advance. What would happen if my GRA were frozen? During the normal batch admissions, universities will skip your file. Once the freeze is lifted, the best outcome is a supplementary admission. The worst case scenario: having no school to attend. Exactly. I stared at the water in my teacup, saying nothing. 12 years. From learning to recognize characters at the age of 5 in the orphanage. Until today. 12 years. Shen Nian. Gu Yen spoke. I looked at him. The marks on your answer sheet, I took a photo. I have backups of the complete surveillance footage from inside and outside the exam hall, including the 11-minute interruption the backup camera at the end of the hallway. Never stopped recording. That camera isn't under the jurisdiction of the Education Bureau. It's managed by the public security system. How did you get it? He didn't answer the question. You just need to know that the chain of evidence is in my hands. If they want to freeze your grades, they have to go through formal procedures. Formal procedures require a review by the examination committee. The review requires evidence. Their evidence is an anonymous report plus a broken surveillance footage. And my evidence: complete hallway surveillance footage. Photos of your answer sheet markings. N. He pulled a USB drive out of his pocket. The original question setting records from the mock exam 3 months ago, including the Word document properties of the first draft, revised draft, and final draft. The creator is Lu Zhengyang's laptop. Director Meng looked at the USB drive, his expression turning much more serious. Where did you get this? Zhou Mingyuan gave it to me. Before he was transferred. He spent a month collecting this. So, Teacher Zhou didn't send me that message on a whim. He had known about it for at least a month. A month. He is protecting me. In every way he can. Including entrusting everything to someone he trusts before being transferred at the last moment. I lowered my head, desperately holding back something. Why are you crying? I'm not crying. Then why are your hands shaking? From anger. Gu Yan glanced at me and pushed the USB drive in front of Director Meng. Director Meng. The evidence is here. When will the provincial department initiate the review? The earliest would be next week. That's too late. What do you mean? The application for grade freeze has been submitted to the Municipal Examination Affairs Committee. If it isn't unfrozen before the results release date, she'll miss the first round of file submission. I know. I'll report it up the chain. But the process can be expedited. I spoke up. Both of them were looking at me. The results will be announced on June 23rd. Today is June 10th. That leaves 13 days in between. I don't plan to wait for the provincial department's review. What do you want to do? I want them to withdraw the freeze application themselves. Director Meng frowned. How will you do that? I didn't answer immediately. My mind was rapidly sorting through all the known information. Chen Shuheng, Zhao Guowei, Lu Zhengyang, Lin Wanqing. Who was the weakest link in this chain? It's not Chen Shuheng's the executor and was long prepared to be investigated. It's not Zhao Guowei, the deputy director of the Education Bureau. His network runs too deep. It's not Lu Zhengyang. The retired old manha's not easy to track down. It's Lin Wanqing, 18 years old, the principal's daughter, who has been cherished since childhood. All the operations ultimately benefit her. But does she know it? I thought for 3 seconds. Does Lin Wanqing know about the leaked exam questions? Director Meng and Gu Yen exchanged a glance. Based on the current evidence, it's uncertain. Her name is on the list. But that doesn't necessarily mean she was aware of it. It could also be that Chen Shuheng acted on his own. What if she doesn't know? Then she's also a victim. No. I said. If she doesn't know, she won't cooperate. Once she finds out her college entrance exam scores are fake. What do you think she'll do? You don't understand Lin Wanqing. I stood up. She's not a bad person. She's someone whose entire life has been arranged for her since childhood. Get first place. Enter a prestigious school. Walk a paved path. But there's one thing she has. What? Self-esteem. A person who always comes in second is told that their first place was stolen for them by someone else. What would they do? No need to guess. I went to the same school as her for 3 years. Whenever she lost to me in mock exams, she never made excuses, she just worked harder to prepare for the next one. She wasn't the type to accept handouts. I'm going to find her. Are you crazy? Gu Yen stood up. Her uncle is Chen Shuheng. Going to her is like walking into a trap. Chen Shuheng doesn't know what I've figured out. In his eyes, I'm just an orphan from a welfare home, with no resources and no connections. At most. He thinks I've been lucky enough to dodge a few of his traps. He won't suspect that I'd dare to take the initiative. Even if Lin Wanqing trusts you, even if she's willing to stand by your side, what can an 18-year-old girl do? An 18-year-old girl can do a lot. I looked at Gu Yen. For example, in front of all the city's media. Rejecting a college entrance exam score obtained through cheating. The room was silent for a few seconds. Director Meng picked up his teacup and took a sip. Bold. I have no way back. You do. You can wait for the provincial department's investigation and follow the proper procedures. I can't afford to wait. I only have 13 days. After 13 days, the first round of file submissions begins. If I miss it, even if I'm eventually exonerated, the best outcome would be a supplementary admission to an unwanted major. Which school do you want to go to? Tsinghua or Peking University? Major. Mathematics. Director Meng set down the teacup. All right, go find Lin Wanqing. But there's one condition. Name it. You cannot tell her that there are others on the list. Only tell her the part concerning herself. The handling of the others will be left to the provincial department. Okay, N. He took something out of his briefcase. A voice recorder. You can leave your phone behind. But this, you must carry with you. I took it and put it in my pocket. Leaving Jincheng Hotel. The weather was scorching hot. The sunlight blazed white on the asphalt road, making the air itself seem to twist. I walked for a while before realizing a problem. I had no idea where Lin Wanqing lived. Just as I was thinking about how to find her. My finino. I didn't bring my phone. Need a ride? The voice came from behind. I turned around. Gu Yan's black car was parked by the roadside, the window halfway down. Are you following me? Director Meng told me to stick with you. He's worried something might happen to you. I opened the car door and sat inside. Lin Wanqing lives in the teacher's family building at Jincheng No. 1 middle school. She lives with her mother. How do you know that? Her father is the principal of a middle school. The principal got the best apartment in the school. 4th floor. Facing south. With a row of jasmine planted on the balcony. You even know about the jasmine. I did a background check. What exactly do you do? I'll tell you later. The car drove to the family quarters of Jincheng No. 1 middle school and stopped downstairs. Gu Yen didn't turn off the engine. I'll wait for you downstairs. If you haven't come out in over an hour, I'll go up to find you. 1 hour is enough. I got out of the car and entered the building. The elevator reached the 4th floor. I found the apartment number and rang the doorbell. A dozen seconds later, the door opened. The door was opened by a middle-aged woman in loungewear, holding a cup of yogurt. Who are you looking for? Hello, Auntie. I'm looking for Lin Wanqing. I'm her classmate. Oh, which school are you from? Jincheng No. 3 middle school. The expression on the woman's face shifted slightly. Wanqing, your classmate is looking for you. The sound of slippers shuffling on the floor came from inside the room. Lin Wanqing came out. Her long hair was tied up in a bun. And she wore a white t-shirt and shorts. With no makeup. The moment she saw me, she was clearly stunned. Shen Nian. Can we talk? How do you know where I live? Your school's faculty apartment building isn't hard to find. She looked at me for a few seconds, turned to her mother and said, "My classmate is here," then led me into her room. The door closed. The room was small but very tidy. The books on the shelf were arranged by subject. Photos of Tsinghua University's campus were posted on the wall. She sat on the edge of the bed. And I sat on the desk chair. Let me make this clear before you come. If you're here to ask for the college entrance exam answers, I won't help. I'm not here to ask for the answers. Then what are you here for? I said it directly. Lin Wanqing. Do you know the origin of this year's college entrance exam math question 22? Her expression didn't change. What do you mean? That question is exactly the same as the final problem from the joint mock exam for the top class in Jincheng City 3 months ago. It was quiet for a few seconds. What did you say? You heard me. She stood up. I've done that mock exam before. Are you saying the college entrance exam had the exact same questions? Word for word. That's impossible. The question setting teams for the mock exam and the college entrance exam are completely different. How could? Because the person who set the questions is the same. Lu Zhengyang. Do you know him? Her face turned a shade paler. Teacher Lu. He used to teach me math. He's retired. After retiring, he was recruited into this year's provincial exam setting panel. And that mock exam paper from 3 months ago, though signed by Chen Shuheng, was actually written by him. Lin Wanqing slowly sat back down on the bed. How do you know all this? The same problem-solving structure comes from a paper he published in 2014. I compared them. Wait. She rested her forehead on her hand. You mean someone deliberately leaked the college entrance exam questions into the mock exam in advance, so that those who took the mock exam could gain an unfair advantage? 40 students from the top class took that mock exam. 42. 2 of them were transfer students from other schools. I'm one of them. Yes. She looked up, staring at me. So you came here because you think I already knew the answer in advance? No. I came here to tell you something. Someone is doing something in your name that you might not know about. What is it? Chen Shuheng has applied to the examination committee to freeze my college entrance exam results. The reason given is suspicion of cheating. The real reason wants you to be the top scorer in the city. The room was very quiet. From the window, I could hear people playing badminton in the neighborhood. Lin Wanqing stared at me for a long time. Do you have evidence? Yes. What evidence? I can't tell you everything. The provincial department is already investigating this matter. But I can tell you this: if my results are frozen before the investigation concludes, I'll miss the first round of admissions. So you came to me because, out of everyone involved in this, you're the only one who might be unaware. How dare you think I don't know? I looked at her. Because last summer, you used your allowance to donate a batch of books to the welfare home. She was stunned. How do you know? I'm the child who grew up in that welfare home. Among those books was a set of advanced lectures on high school mathematics competitions. I flipped through every page. On the title page, you wrote a sentence: I hope everyone has a fair starting point. Lin Wanqing's lips moved slightly. You saw that sentence? I've seen it. When I wrote that sentence. You don't need to explain. It doesn't matter whether you believe me or not. I just need you to do one thing. What is it? If you really don't know about the leaked exam questions, if you truly believe in fairness. I stood up. Then don't let them use your name to bully me. I turned and walked away. After I walked out, her mom saw me in the living room and asked with a smile, "Are you done talking?" "All done. Goodbye, Auntie." I went downstairs and got into the car. Gu Yan asked me how it went. I don't know. It's up to her. You trust her that much? I trust that saying. What saying? I hope everyone has a fair starting point. The car waited at the intersection for the red light. Gu Yan suddenly said, "Do you know why Teacher Zhou entrusted the items to me? Because you were teacher and student. It's not just that. Then what is it? 12 years ago. I was also the top of the school. Someone tampered with my grades too. Teacher Zhou had just become a homeroom teacher back then. And he fought tooth and nail to appeal on my behalf. In the end, my grades were restored. But he was disciplined by the school. What about you afterward? Later. I was admitted to the People's Public Security University of China. Now I work in the Economic Crime Investigation Department under the Provincial Public Security Bureau. I turned my head to look at him. You're a police officer. Yeah, then you go be the invigilator. Coordinate with the Provincial Education Supervision Office. This college entrance exam cheating case has been designated as a major case by the Ministry of Public Security. My mission is to enter the exam hall and gather first-hand evidence. So the red string on your wrist. It's the internal signal of the exam cheating network. Invigilators wearing red strings are their people. I'm an undercover agent. The light turns green. And the car starts moving. From beginning to end. You were just putting on an act. From beginning to end. You never let me down. He turned his head and glanced at me. The moment you walked out of the exam room without writing your name and handed in a blank paper. I knew Teacher Zhou hadn't misjudged you. Anyone else would have fallen apart long ago. That's not called bravery. That's called having no choice. For the next 2 days. Nothing happened. On the surface. Nothing happened. June 12th. Lin Wanqing did not contact me. June 13th. Still no. I began to doubt my judgment. Maybe she didn't care at all. Maybe she had known about the leaked exam questions all along. And that phrase "a fair starting point" was just a nice sticker on the book. June 14th. Morning. I was packing up my things in the rental room. The college entrance exam was over. And the landlord was urging me to vacate. Bang. 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 Someone is knocking at the door. It's urgent. I open the door. Lin Wanqing is standing at the doorway. The eyes are red. Come inside. She walked in, stood in the middle of my 8-square-meter rental room, and looked around. You live here. If you find it so unbearable, you can leave. That's not what I meant. She took a deep breath. Shen Nian. Everything you said is true. You checked. I searched my uncle's study. I found the communication records with Lu Zhengyang. And also. She pulled out her phone and held the screen up to me. It was a screenshot of a WeChat conversation. A dialogue between Chen Shuheng and Zhao Guowei. The date was mid-May. Chen Shuheng. Shen Nian turned down the recommendation for direct admission. Now she has to take the college entrance exam, which is harder to control. Zhao Guowei. The college entrance exam is easier to control. We can tamper with the answer sheet when the time comes. Chen Shuheng. What about Zhou Mingyuan? He'll definitely protect her. Zhao Guowei. Transfer him away before the exam. I'll arrange the excuse. Chen Shuheng. No need to mention it to Wanqing. The fewer people who know, the better. The last sentence. No need to mention it to Wanqing. The fewer people who know, the better. She really didn't know. Lin Wanqing put away her phone and looked at me. You can hate my uncle. You can also hate the entire Jincheng one high school. But I don't hate you. She bit her lip. I came to tell you that I called the Provincial Education Department's Petition office this morning. As a test taker, I filed a real name report about the leak of this year's college entrance exam math question 22. The whistleblower Lin Wanqing, the daughter of the principal of Jincheng one high school. I stood still. Do you know what this means? I do. My college entrance exam scores will also be investigated. If it's confirmed that my math score was affected by the leaked questions, I might face having my results invalidated. Does your father know? He only found out this morning. He smashed a cup in the living room and then called Chen Shuheng to yell at him for half an hour. The principal didn't know. My daughter has a lot of problems. But in this matter, he really didn't know. Chen Shuheng did it on his own. My dad. You can call him incompetent. But he wouldn't order someone to cheat. I wasn't sure if what she said was true. But now, that doesn't matter. What did your uncle say after you reported it? I didn't tell him. He only got a call from the provincial department an hour ago. He'll take it out on you. It's already done. He called me and said I was crazy. He said I was ruining the future of the whole family. Are you scared? Yes. Her voice trembled for a moment. But I'm more afraid of something else. What? I'm afraid of living my whole life with the first place that I stole. One of the windows in the rented room was broken. And the wind came pouring in through it. We stood facing each other. Two 18-year-old girls. One came from an orphanage. The other from the principal's home. We were supposed to be rivals. Now we're on the same side. Thanks. Don't mention it. This isn't to help you. It's for myself. Fine. Then let's each rely on our own skills. She wiped her eyes and forced a smile. Before leaving, she turned back and asked, Shen Nian, that last math problem, you had clearly seen the original question in the mock exam 3 months ago. But you used a completely different method in the college entrance exam, didn't you? How do you know? I guessed. Because the method you used in that mock exam was the standard construction approach. But given your level, there's no way you didn't know there were other solutions. You deliberately left a fork in the road. You're quite smart. Shen Nian. Just how smart are you? You'll know when the results come out. She left. The rental room fell silent again. I sat on the floor, my back against the wall with peeling paint. The sunlight streamed in through the window, casting a crooked quadrilateral on the floor. The phone vibrated. A text message from Gu Yen. The provincial department has received Lin Wanqing's formal complaint. With our evidence, the review process has been expedited. The results are expected by June 20th. June 20th. 3 days until the results are announced. It's enough. It should be enough. Over the next 3 days, events unfolded faster than I had anticipated. And more fiercely. On June 15th, the Provincial Education Department supervision team entered Jincheng City Education Bureau. On June 16th, Chen Shuheng was suspended from duty pending investigation. Zhao Guowei was required to cooperate with the investigation and was temporarily relieved of all duties. June 17th. The news spread. No one knew who leaked it. But news of the Jincheng City College entrance exam question leak case began to spread online. At first, it was just a post on a local forum. I heard that this year's college entrance exam math final question was leaked in advance. Then someone replied, I know. It's said to be related to Jincheng No. 1 middle school. After that, local news reporters got involved. Jincheng Daily published a report titled A Few Officials in Jincheng's Education System Suspected of Violations. Provincial Department Organizing Investigation. The wording was very cautious. But Jincheng is only so big, news can't be hidden. On the afternoon of June 17th, I went out and bought a pack of instant noodles. On my way back, I ran into someone at the entrance of the stairwell. Chen Shuheng. He was wearing a dark polo shirt, standing downstairs from the rental apartment. A white SUV was parked nearby. When he saw me, there was no expression on his face. Shen Nian. Vice Principal Chen. I heard that the rental house near your school is about to expire. You've moved out. Right. Isn't there still room in the welfare home's dormitory? You came to me just to say this. I came to tell you something. He took a step forward. I've withdrawn your grade freeze request. I looked at him. Why? Because it's no longer necessary. Let the provincial department investigate if they want to. I have a clear conscience. There was even a smile on his face. As for you, a child from an orphanage, who received a strange message from your homeroom teacher right before the college entrance exam and even forgot to write your name during the test. No matter how high your score is, when admissions offices at major universities see this file, do you think they'll consider you normal? My fingers tightened around the plastic bag. You think withdrawing the freeze makes it all go away? The evidence is still there. What evidence? A retired teacher once published a set of mock exam questions. That's called teaching reuse. A vice principal caring about his niece's grades. That's just human nature. As for the answer sheet markings you mentioned, Edo, you have the original. I said nothing. The original is at the grading center. All I have are photos taken by Gu Yen. And whether those photos can be used as legal evidence depends on how the provincial department determines it. Little girl. You're very smart. Chen Shuheng took a step back. But there's one thing you don't understand. This world isn't won by intelligence alone. You have no family, no connections, no social resources whatsoever, even if you score 750 points. How do you know my score? The results aren't out yet. He paused for a moment. I'm just giving an example. No, you're not making a metaphor. You just said even if you scored 750 points. Before the results come out, what gives you the right to use the number 750? Unless you've already seen my exam paper. I stared at him. Your goal in freezing the scores isn't just to prevent me from being admitted. You need to see my score in advance and confirm whether your plan succeeded. What nonsense are you talking about? If I scored 680 or 690, your plan would have succeeded, because only the top-tier class got full marks on the 22 leaked questions. I'm just an ordinary high scorer, but if I scored 750 perfect scores in all subjects, he'd panic. The smile on Chen Shuheng's face vanished. Little girl. Just call me Shen Nian. Shen Nian. Do you think dropping the provincial department's name will make a difference? How many cases like this have you seen end up unresolved? This time is different. What's different? This time. There's a real name report from your niece. Chen Shuheng's expression changed. It truly changed. A shock from the inside out. Impossible to conceal. What? Lin Wanqing has filed a real name report against you. Impossible. The call you received this morning from the provincial department, what was it about? You know it in your heart. He took a step back. She couldn't possibly. Why not? Because she's your niece. So she must be on your side. Vice Principal Chen. You manipulated her grades, leaked the exam questions to her, and arranged everything for her. But you forgot to ask her one question: are you willing? Stay away from Wanqing. I don't need to stay away from her. She came to me on her own. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself. You don't even know what kind of person she is. Chen Shuheng stood still, his chest heaving a few times. Then he turned around, got into the white SUV, slammed the door shut, and drove off. The sound of tires grinding against the road was harsh in the evening alley. I stood at the stairwell entrance. Beads of water on the instant noodle bag sliding down the plastic. Only after the taillights disappeared did I realize my back was drenched in sweat. The voice recorder in my pocket had been running the whole time. Every single word, every single one of his words had been recorded, including when he said, even if you scored 750 points. This statement is essentially an indirect admission that he has seen my score. I took out the voice recorder and checked the storage. Complete. Go upstairs. Close the door. Lock it. Sit at the table eating instant noodles. The instant noodles are a buy. Tea salty, but they taste very good. On June 18th, the investigation entered a substantive phase. Lu Zhengyang was found by the police. He was in a sanatorium 400 kilometers away from Jincheng City. He had a bad heart and had been hospitalized all along. According to what Gu Yan later told Muhen, the old man was questioned. He was silent for a long time, and then said, I let those children down. He admitted it. The mock exam paper from 3 months ago was set by him. Question 22 of the college entrance exam math section was also set by him. But he didn't intentionally leak the questions, at least. That wasn't his intention at first. The situation was more complicated than he had imagined. When Chen Shuheng found him, he said the district needed a set of high-quality mock exam questions and asked for his help. Out of trust for his former colleague, Lu Zhengyang used a few of his treasured final questions. Later, he was seconded to the exam-setting team. Having exhausted his reserve of final questions, during the closed-door exam-setting period, he was forced to reuse questions he had previously written, including the one he had given to Chen Shuheng. Does this count as intentional leaking of exam questions? Legally, it may be debatable, but the result was the same. For candidates had seen the original exam questions in advance. Chen Shuheng knew Lu Zhengyang's question-setting habits in advance and deliberately collected his question bank. That was the real mastermind. June 19th. The Provincial Education Department's Examination Affairs Committee urgently convened a review meeting. Materials include 1. Lin Wanqing's real name complaint letter and screenshot evidence. 2. Complete corridor surveillance footage of exam room 302 and photos of answer sheet markings collected by Gu Yen. 3. Mock exam question setting records and Word document property evidence left by Zhou Mingyuan. 4. L. Yu Xingyang's written statement. 5. The recorded conversation between Chen Shuheng and me. The complete set. On the evening of June 19th. Gu Yen sent me a text message. The review results are out. Your grade freeze has been officially lifted. Chen Shuheng and Zhao Guowei have been handed over to judicial authorities. I stood by the window of my rented room, holding my phone. The setting sun was huge. A deep purplish red. It seems unreal, yet it feels too real. Starting from teacher Zhou's message, to entering the exam hall, seeing the red string, not writing my name, changing my approach, looking up papers, finding Lin Wanqing, and confronting Chen Shuheng. 9 days. A full 9 days. These 9 days felt longer than any period in the past 12 years. I suddenly felt like giving teacher Zhou a call, but his number still couldn't be reached. I don't know which remote county he's in now. Teaching physics to which students? I don't know if he knows that his students held on. June 23rd. College entrance exam results release day. At midnight, the score inquiry system opened. I crouched on the floor of my rented room, using the Wi-Fi borrowed from the internet cafe next door, and opened the score inquiry page. Entered my exam registration number. Enter your ID number. Click search. The page loaded for 3 seconds. The results came out. Chinese, 150. Mathematics, 150. English, 150. Science comprehensive, 300. Total score, 750. Full marks. I stared at that number on the screen. 750. Perfect score in all subjects. I sat alone on the ground, my back against the wall with its peeling paint. I didn't laugh. I didn't cry. I just sat there. My phone vibrated countless times. The first message was from Gu Yen. Congratulations. The second was from Director Meng. 750. Well done. The third was from someone whose number I hadn't saved. It's me, Zhou Mingyuan. I just changed my number. Shen Nian. You did it. The teacher didn't misjudge you. I read this message several times. Then I exited the chat. No reply. Because I was afraid that my hands would tremble while typing and he would notice. Day broke. The phone vibrated again. A new message. From Lin Wanqing. Shen Nian. Top of the city. 750. I saw it on the news. I replied to her. What about you? 698. After deducting the impact score for question 22. It was reassessed by the provincial department. Within a reasonable range. Enough to get into Tsinghua. Yeah. Architecture. Then we'll be alumni. Don't try to get chummy. Math and architecture are 10 streets apart. I smiled. Lin Wanqing. Thank you for those books. She didn't reply. After a while, an emoji was sent, a faint smiley face. June 23rd. 9 in the morning. Reporters from Jincheng Daily, provincial TV stations, and several local public accounts gathered at the entrance of Jincheng No. 3 Middle School. The principal personally made 5 or 6 phone calls to ask me to come to the school for an interview. I went. When I arrived at the school, a banner was hung at the entrance. Warm congratulations to our school's student Shen Nian for scoring 750 points in the college entrance exam, winning the provincial top scholar. The banner had a red background with gold characters, hung very high. I stood beneath the banner and looked up at it. Suddenly, I find it a bit ironic. 3 years ago, they wouldn't even give me a free spot in the top class. Today, they're willing to spend money on a banner. The reporters swarmed in. Microphones, cameras, and voice recorders, a dense crowd of them. Shen Nian. How did you manage to get full marks in all subjects? By doing practice questions. Could you elaborate on your study methods? Do the problems. Then do harder problems. What do you think is the biggest factor in your success? I thought for a moment. A good teacher. Can you tell me which teacher it is? His name is Zhou Mingyuan. He is the homeroom teacher of an ordinary senior class at Jincheng 3 High School. He has now been transferred to a county middle school. The reporters exchanged glances. An experienced journalist covering education had a glint in his eye she clearly knew about. The recent investigation controversy. You mentioned that teacher Zhou was transferred. Under what circumstances? The principal of Jincheng 3 Middle School quickly interrupted from the side. Let's not talk about that today. We're mainly here to discuss Shen Nian's study experience. Let her speak. The voice came from the back of the crowd. Everyone turned to look back. Director Meng, dressed in a dark gray formal suit and wearing gold-rimmed glasses, walked out from the crowd. 2 people in uniforms followed beside him. And Gu Yan was there too. He wasn't wearing a white shirt today. He was in a police uniform. The police badge on his collar gleamed brightly in the sunlight. The dark red string on his wrist was gone. Director Meng stepped up to the microphone. Dear journalists present, regarding this year's exam fraud case in Jincheng Examination District, the Provincial Department of Education, in collaboration with the Provincial Public Security Department, has completed a preliminary investigation. There are several matters that need to be reported. He took out a document. First, Zhao Guowei, former deputy director of the Jincheng Municipal Education Bureau, is suspected of abuse of power and forging examination documents, and has been transferred to the procuratorial authorities. Second, Chen Shuheng, former vice principal of Jincheng 1 High School, is suspected of organizing exam fraud and retaliating against whistleblowers, and has been placed under criminal detention. 3. Liu Zhengyang, a former member of the college entrance examination proposition team, is suspected of negligently leaking state secrets. He is currently released on bail pending trial and will be dealt with in a separate case. 4. Zhou Mingyuan, a teacher at Jincheng 3 Middle School who was improperly transferred from his post, has had his transfer order revoked and has been reinstated to his original position. A stir ran through the crowd. All the reporters' microphones turned toward Director Meng. How many candidates were specifically affected? What is the scope of the exam paper leak? Is Chen Shuheng involved in any other illegal activities? I stood by, saying nothing more. My gaze swept past the crowd and landed on Gu Yan, who was standing at the very back. He was looking at me too, dressed in his police uniform. He was completely different from the young man in the white shirt I had seen in the exam hall. But on his wrist, where the red string had once been tied, there was a faint ring of marks. I nodded at him. He nodded back. No extra expressions. Just like that barely noticeable slight nod in the examination hall. Enough. After the press conference, I was pulled into the principal's office by a teacher from the academic affairs office. The principal was grinning from ear to ear. Shen Nian, the top scorer in the province. The first provincial top scorer since our school was founded. Which university do you want to go to? Tsinghua or Peking University? The school will fully support you. Tsinghua, Mathematics Department. All right. Regarding the scholarship. Principal. 3 years ago, teacher Zhou helped me apply for free admission to the top class. Do you still remember that? His smile froze for a moment. Well, that was Vice Principal Chen's decision at the time. You signed and approved it then. Well, the situation is a bit complicated. It's not complicated. I stood up. I don't need a scholarship. I need you to do one thing. What's the matter? From now on, all students from financially disadvantaged families at Jincheng 3 Middle School will be admitted to the top-tier class for free. No application needed. No approval required, just meet the academic criteria and you're in. This needs to be discussed. No discussion. I can tell the press that the top scorer in the province couldn't even get into the top-tier class after 3 years at Jincheng 3 Middle School. Do you think that would make a good headline? The principal's expression shifted again and again. No, that wasn't right. The principal was silent for 3 seconds. I approve. Thank you, Principal. I walked out of the principal's office. The hallway was empty, with all the students on summer vacation. Sunlight streamed in through the window at the end of the corridor, and it was very quiet. I walked to the corner on the third floor and saw someone standing there. Teacher Zhou. He looked thinner than 10 days ago, with stubble sprouting on his chin and his shirt wrinkled. When he saw me, he didn't say a word. Neither did I. We stood in the hallway, about 3 steps apart. Then he spoke, his voice a little hoarse. Perfect scores in all subjects. Yeah, perfect score on the essay too. What did you write? I wrote a story about fairness. He smiled slightly, very faint. It was the same kind of smile he gave me when he praised me in class. Let's go. I'll take you to eat. What to eat? Something good. You've grown up now. It's time you had a decent meal. I followed him down the stairs. As we passed the school gate, the red banner with gold lettering swayed slightly in the wind. Warm congratulations to our school's student Shen Nian for scoring 750 points in the college entrance exam, winning the provincial top scholar. Teacher Zhou glanced at the banner and said nothing. I said nothing either. Some things don't need to be said. End of June. The admission letter from Tsinghua University arrived. Gu Yan signed for it on my behalf because I was moving that day. I moved from a rented apartment to a new PL. Ace. It's Teacher Zhou's house. He has a small 2-bedroom apartment near the school that has been vacant for a long time. Stay until the semester starts. You'll have a dormitory once you're in Beijing. Rent. You're talking to me about rent. I didn't say anything more. The admission letter was in a purple envelope. Very beautiful. When I opened it, my fingers trembled slightly. Tsinghua University admission letter. Dear Shen Nian, you have been admitted to the School of Mathematical Sciences. I placed the acceptance letter on the table and took a photo. I sent it to 3 people. Teacher Zhou, Gu Yan, Lin Wanqing. Teacher Zhou replied, study hard. Lin Wanqing replied, the architecture department welcomes you to visit. By the way, don't come to me for tutoring if you fail your exams. Gu Yan replied with a single word. Then 5 minutes later, another message was sent. Does the admission letter look good? It looks good. It's purple. Mine was red back in the day. From the Public Security University. Yeah. 8 years ago. How old are you? 26. He is 8 years older than me. Has the mark on your wrist from that rope faded yet? Not yet. Does it hurt? It doesn't hurt. Who are you kidding? That rope was tied for days. He didn't reply. After a while, she sent a voice message. I tapped to open it. 3 seconds. It doesn't hurt anymore. The voice was low. I smiled while holding my phone. July. The Jean City College entrance examination cheating case officially entered the judicial process. Chen Shuheng was prosecuted for organizing cheating in examinations. Zhao Guowei was prosecuted for abuse of power. The 2 men, in the detention center, exposed each other's wrongdoings, revealing their disgraceful behavior. It is said that during interrogation, Chen Shuheng repeatedly emphasized one sentence. Everything I did was for the children. The prosecutor asked him, for which child? He was speechless. For his own niece. Lin Wanqing personally reported him. His so-called for the sake of the children was nothing more than for his own future and interests. After the re-evaluation of Lin Wanqing's college entrance exam scores, her results were reassessed. The points for the final math problem were deducted, leaving her with a total score of 698. Still enough to get into Tsinghua University. On her own merit. August. 1 week before the start of the semester, I packed my luggage. 1 suitcase and 1 backpack. All my belongings weighed less than 20 kilograms. On the day I went to the train station, Teacher Zhou drove me there. He didn't say a single word in the car. When we arrived at the station entrance, he took a paper bag from the car and handed it to me. Eat it on the way. I opened it and took a look. 2 meat buns, Chinese-style rujiamo, a box of yogurt, and a bag of marinated eggs, and a letter. Read it when you get there. Okay. I pulled my suitcase into the station. I glanced back during the security check. He was still standing at the drop-off gate, hands in his pockets, very thin, a 42-year-old man, with a few strands of white hair already showing. I waved my hand at him. He waved back. Then he turned and walked away. No beating around the bush. Just like his teaching style, he finishes the key points and ends the class. Never wasting a word. On the train, I opened the letter. Teacher Zhou's handwriting is, as always, neat and orderly. Shen Nian. You should be the student I am most proud of in my life. But what I am most proud of is not your score of 750. It was you who didn't break down after seeing that message. Didn't write your name on the exam paper. Didn't flinch when facing Chen Shuheng. And didn't lie when looking for Lin Wanqing. A person's score proves how smart she is. A person's choices prove who she is. Go to Tsinghua. Go see a bigger world. But don't forget to come back. When you return. The top class at Jincheng 3 middle school will be free of charge. You earned it. Zhou Mingyuan. I folded the letter and tucked it into the innermost compartment of my backpack. The scenery outside the window was rushing backward. Fields, houses, highways, rivers. Every step I had taken over the past 18 years was left behind. Ahead is Beijing. It is Tsinghua. It is a completely different time and space. The signal on the train is poor, but I still sent a message. To Gu Yan. I'm on the train. After a long while. A reply came. The signal was intermittent. The words appearing in fragments. Exit Beijing West Station and turn right. I'll be waiting for you at Gate B. I stared at the line of text. You came to Beijing. Business trip. Just in time. What case? A case that has nothing to do with you. Don't ask. Then why are you waiting for me at Gate B? I'll take you to school. Isn't registration day supposed to have someone to send you off? I leaned against the window, staring at the chat box on my phone screen. The sky outside the window was a deep blue. In September, Beijing's autumn weather was crisp and clear. As the train pulled into the station, the announcement sounded. Dear passengers. The train has arrived at its final stop, Beijing West Railway Station. I stood up and gathered my luggage. Stepped out of the carriage. There were many people on the platform. I went through the underground passage and got on the escalator. Exit B. As soon as I walked out of the ticket G8, I saw him. Gu Yan stood by the pillar on the right side of the exit. He was wearing a dark blue jacket, carrying a black backpack, and holding up a sign. White background with black text. It read, Classmate Shen Nian, top scorer in the province. Here to pick you up. I laughed out loud. I walked over quickly. Did you have to go that far? Of course. He put down the sign. Let's go. Tsinghua University. Department of Mathematics. How are you getting there? By taxi. I drove here. Aren't you on a business trip? You drove for a business trip. The business trip is over. The car is borrowed. Borrowed from whom? A friend. What friend? So many questions. He turned and walked toward the parking lot. I pulled my suitcase and followed behind. The September sunlight shone on the square of Beijing West Railway Station. People came and went. The whole world was moving forward. I am also moving forward. From the iron bed in the welfare home to today. From that message that lit up late at night to this moment. 750 points. Tsinghua University. A good teacher. A good opponent. I glanced at Gu Yan walking ahead. His back was very straight. His left hand hung naturally. The marks on his wrist already very faint. But still there. A good person. I quickened my pace and caught up with him. The wheels of the suitcase rolled across the ground, making a crisp sound, like a sound that no longer needed to look back. September 3rd. Tsinghua University Registration Day. A long line formed in front of the welcome tent of the School of Mathematical Sciences. I took my admission letter and ID card and queued at the very end. The guy in front turned around and glanced at me. Junior. Math department. Yeah. Which province are you from? Jiangnan province. He thought for a moment. Then suddenly his eyes widened. You're not that 751, are you? Several people around turned their heads at the same time. The one who got full marks in all subjects. That's her. She looks way too ordinary. She's the top scorer. So what if she looks ordinary? I moved forward expressionlessly. Just lucky. Lucky. You call 750 lucky. After checking in, I got the dormitory key, building 6. Room 402. Zijing Apartments. A 4-person room. By the time I arrived at the dormitory, 2 people were already there. One was Fang Yun, a local from Beijing, a gold medalist in math competitions, speaking with a natural Haitian accent. The other was Tang Song, from Zhejiang, ranked 3rd in the province in the college entrance exam. When I walked in, they were discussing the freshman courses. Fang Yun saw me and let out a whoa. So you're Shen Nian? Yeah, great. Now I have someone to rely on for my advanced math homework. Tang Song shot her a glare. You just got here and you already want to copy her homework. I call it referencing. Academic exchange. I placed my luggage on the bed by the window. You can see the playground from the window. Who's the 4th one? Not here yet. I heard they're a special admit. Recommended for admission. Before the words faded, the door was pushed open. The person who walked in recognized her. Lin Wanqing. She was carrying a box of things in her arms, followed by her mother, who was loaded with bags and bundles. The moment she saw me, she was stunned too. You. What are you doing here? I glanced at the tag on her suitcase, building 6. Apartment 402. Zijing Dormitory. I'm in the architecture department. But since freshman general courses have mixed dormitory assignments, I ended up in this room too. What a coincidence. Fang Yun widened her eyes beside him. You two know each other? Tang Song asked. Lin Wanqing and I exchanged a glance. High school classmates. Same city, different schools. College entrance exam rivals. Fang Yun was thrilled. Oh my god. The top scorer in the province and the top in the province. What was your rank again? 12th in the province. Lin Wanqing said calmly. The top scorer in the province and the 12th place in the province sharing a room. What kind of legendary dorm is this? Lin Wanqing put down her things and walked over to me. Shen Nian. I didn't choose your dorm on purpose. I know, but since we're living together. She reached out her hand. Nice to meet you. I shook her hand. My hands are a little cold. She smiled. That smile was completely different from the way she looked with red eyes in my rented room in Jincheng. Clean, confident, and relaxed, like someone who has finally unburdened themselves of a heavy load. Your uncle's case. The trial has started. The verdict is expected in October. Are you okay? It's better than I imagined. I nodded. The first day of military training. The September sun in Beijing was still scorching. All the new students stood on the playground in camouflage uniforms. The instructor was a dark-skinned lieutenant with an extremely loud voice. Attention. Right dress. Count off. I stood in the 3rd row. Military training is boring. But I like it. Because everyone is the same. No distinction in grades, background, or family circumstances. Wearing the same clothes. Standing in the same formation. Basking in the same sun. This is the true starting point of fairness. While standing at attention during military drill, my phone vibrated in my pocket. I couldn't look at it. It wasn't until the noon break that I took it out. Sent by Gu Yen. Military training today. Yeah, it's really sunny. Drink plenty of water. Where are you? I've already returned to Jincheng. The case will be brought to trial next week. When are you coming to Beijing again? He didn't reply immediately. 5 minutes passed. Wait until your winter break. I stared at those 4 words for a moment. Then I put my phone away and rejoined the group. The instructor shouted from the front. That girl in the 3rd row. What are you laughing at during the military stance practice? Add 10 more minutes. I wiped the smile off my face and stood at attention. 10 more minutes. Fine. October. The freshman year schedule is packed with classes. Advanced algebra, mathematical analysis, analytic geometry, discrete mathematics. In the first mathematical analysis class, the professor was Ji Hengshan, in his 60s, said to be a senior figure in topology in the country. He didn't use PowerPoint during the lecture. He wrote everything by hand, and his blackboard handwriting was so neat it could be framed. At the beginning of the first class, he wrote a theorem. There are 8 classic ways to prove this theorem. Who can give me a 9th? The entire class of 60 people fell into dead silence. These individuals gold medalists in competitions, top scorers from each province, and recommended students all remained silent. I stared at that theorem for 30 seconds, raised my hand. Professor G looked at me. Speak. I stood up, walked to the front of the blackboard, and picked up a piece of chalk. I wrote for a full 2 minutes. I put down the chalk and turned around. Professor G stared at the blackboard for a long time, then nodded. Name. Shen Nian. Where are you from? Jiangnan Province. Jincheng City. Jincheng No. 3 Middle School. Yes. A student of Zhou Mingyuan. I was taken aback. You know teacher Zhou. 25 years ago. He was my graduate student. Later, he returned to his hometown to become a middle school teacher. What a waste. Professor G took off his glasses and wiped them. But seeing you. Maybe it wasn't a waste. After class, Fang Yun came over. Amazing. Professor G hasn't praised a student in person in 20 years. Was that really praise just now? Maybe it wasn't a waste coming from his mouth. It meant the same as someone else saying you're a genius. I didn't say anything, but suddenly a thought crossed my mind. Teacher Zhou took the graduate entrance exam. He never mentioned it. He always only said he was an ordinary middle school physics teacher. I sent a message to Teacher Zhou. Teacher Zhou, were you once a graduate student of Professor Ji Hengshan? An hour later. He replied, that was a long time ago. Focus on your classes and stop digging into your teacher's dark past. I held back a laugh. But at the same time, I couldn't help wondering someone capable of getting into Ji Hengshan's graduate program had given up academia to become a middle school teacher in a small city. Why? Maybe one day he will tell me. Maybe never. But regardless. He taught a student who got full marks in all subjects. Early November. 1 week before the midterm exam. The math department's midterm isn't a written exam. It's a thesis defense. Each person chooses a topic, writes a paper, and gives a 10-minute presentation in front of the entire department's professors. The topic I chose is special construction methods of finite groups and their applications in combinatorial mathematics. Fang Yun took a sharp breath when she saw my topic. Are you crazy? This is a graduate-level topic. The topic has no restrictions. The topic isn't restricted, but your first semester of freshman year. That's enough. The thesis took 5 days to write. On the day of the defense. Among the 5 professors on the review panel, Ji Hengshan sat right in the middle. After I finished my presentation, the 5 professors remained silent for over 10 seconds. Then Ji Hengshan spoke. The core structure of this paper coincidentally aligns with the ideas of a paper published last year in the Annals of Mathematics. Have you read that paper? No. Then where did your structure come from? I came up with it myself. He glanced at me. Then he picked up his pen and wrote a score on the evaluation sheet. Turn it over and show me. 100. The only perfect score in the entire department. After the news spread, the math department's student group exploded. A freshman thesis defense with a perfect score. Is that Shen Nian who scored 750 on the college entrance exam? She's not human. She really isn't human's a god. I turned off my phone and went to the cafeteria to eat. I made a plate of tomato scrambled eggs and a bowl of rice. As I sat down, someone suddenly sat down across from me. A tall, slender guy with glasses. Looking quite refined. Hello, Shen Nian. My name is Zhao Yiheng, a junior in the math department. I'm the captain of the school's mathematical modeling team. What's up? There's a national college student mathematical modeling competition next month. We need a team member. Are you interested? Can freshmen participate? There's no restriction. As long as you have the ability. What type of questions? Mixed type. Involving optimization, statistics, and computer modeling. I'm not very good at programming. Programming is handled by dedicated personnel. What we lack is the core thinking of mathematical modeling people who can abstract real-world problems into mathematical models. I thought for 2 seconds. Okay, when is the training? Tomorrow evening at 7. Science Building Room 304. He left. Fang Yun appeared out of nowhere. carrying a tray and sitting down beside me. Did Zhao Weiheng come to you? Yeah. He's the school record holder for the mathematical modeling competition. Last year, he led a team to win the national first prize. Then does he still need me? Because his partner graduated this year. He needs someone stronger than him. I lowered my head and shoveled rice into my mouth. You think I'm stronger than him? Come on. Ji Hengshan gave your paper a perfect score of 100. The whole school knows about it. Why are you still being modest? I didn't answer. It wasn't modesty. It was uncertainty. A score of 750 proves I can take exams. A score of 100 proves I can do academics. But mathematical modeling, that is a different battlefield. December. National College Students Mathematical Modeling Competition. 3 days and 3 nights. When the problem was released, I had 2 seconds of blankness. It wasn't that I didn't know how to solve it. The topic is too broad. It involves optimizing urban traffic flow, building a dynamic optimization model based on the road network data of an actual city to minimize total delays during peak hours. Zhao Weiheng is responsible for the overall framework and data processing. The third team member is Lu Sheng, a senior in the computer science department, responsible for programming implementation. My task: the core mathematical model. For the first 8 hours, I wrote nothing. Zhao Weiheng was getting anxious. Shen Nian, what are you thinking about? Thinking. About what? The optimal solution to this problem is not found in conventional thinking. What do you mean? The conventional approach would be linear programming or dynamic programming. But the topology of this road network has a special characteristic: it is not a planar graph. Zhao Weiheng frowned slightly. Not a planar graph. There are 3 interchange nodes forming a K3. 3 subgraph. Traditional planar optimization methods would fail here. Then what's your solution? Graph embedding theory. Embed the road network into a high-dimensional space. Optimize it there. And then project it back. Zhao Weiheng stared at me for 3 seconds. Are you sure? I'm sure. Over the next 60 hours, I handwrote more than 40 pages of the derivation process. Lu Sheng stared at the code. His eyes red as a rabbit's. Zhao Weiheng ran back and forth between me and him, coordinating the interface between the data and the model. On the early morning of the 3rd day, the model finally ran successfully. The moment the results came out, Zhao Weiheng slammed the table. Optimized 12 more than the optimal solution of the standard answer. That's impossible. Lu Sheng leaned in to look at the screen. The standard answer should already be the theoretical optimum. The standard answer's model assumes the road network is a planar graph. It's not. The 3 of them exchanged glances. I've submitted it. A month later, the results came out. National Special Prize. This is the 2nd National Special Prize in the history of Tsinghua University's mathematical modeling team. The last one was 14 years ago. When the news reached Jincheng, Teacher Zhou sent me a message. Saw the news. Yeah. Special prize. Have you eaten? I smiled. I've eaten. That's good. January. Winter break. I didn't return to Jincheng. Because Jincheng is no longer home. The welfare home had already been relocated last autumn. I returned Teacher Zhou's house keys to him. I stayed in the school dormitory. Fang Yun returned her home in Beijing. And Tang Song went back to Zhejiang. Lin Wanqing also left. I was the only one left in the dormitory. On New Year's Eve, most of the cafeteria was closed. I bought a bowl of instant noodles and sat on the windowsill of my dormitory. Through the window, I could see sporadic fireworks in the distance. The fireworks in Beijing aren't as dense as those in Jincheng. Scattered and sparse, like shattered stars. The phone rang. Gu Yen. Where are you? Dormitory. What did you eat? Instant noodles. He didn't respond. 10 minutes later, the phone rang again. Go downstairs. What? Downstairs. Hurry up. I put on a cotton-padded jacket and went downstairs. The black car was parked at the entrance of the dormitory building. But it had a Beijing license plate. It wasn't borrowed. It was his own. Gu Yan got out of the car, carrying an insulated lunchbox in hand. Aren't you in Jincheng? Drove 12 hours to get here. Have you lost your mind? I won't let you eat instant noodles on New Year's Eve. He handed me the insulated lunchbox. I opened the lid. Braised pork ribs, sweet and sour fish, tomato and egg soup, white rice. All of it is hot. I looked at that bucket of food and suddenly couldn't speak. It's too cold out. Sighed. Want to eat in the car. I sat in the passenger seat. He sat in the driver's seat. The heater was on in the car, and a thin layer of mist had formed on the outside of the windshield. I ate bite by bite. He sat beside me. Without uttering a single word, occasionally passed the tissue over. I ate a lot. Put down the chopsticks after eating. The car is very quiet. In the distance, another firework rose into the sky. Gu Yen. Have the marks on your wrist faded yet? He turned his left hand over to show me. A clean wrist. The ligature marks were completely gone. It's gone. What about the red string? Submitted. Physical evidence. Will you take on undercover missions again in the future? It depends. Is it dangerous? What do you think? I think you could do something that isn't dangerous. Like what? Like bringing me dinner every New Year's Eve. He turned his head to look at me. The fireworks outside the car exploded in the darkness. Their light reflected in his eyes. He didn't say a word, but the corner of his mouth no. He looked at me. Very seriously. Okay. One word. Very softly. But it was heavy. I turned my head to look out the window, pretending to watch the fireworks. February. The new semester begins. The second semester of freshman year. Time flies. Courses. Papers. Competitions. Seminars. My daily schedule is packed full. In March, Professor Ji Hengshan called me to his office. Shen Nian. I recommend you participate in a summer program. What program? The MIT Mathematics Department and Tsinghua University Joint Summer Research Program. 2 months long. Only 10 undergraduates are selected globally each year. Going to the US. Boston. All expenses covered. I don't have a passport. Done. I've never been abroad. That's exactly why you need to go. He pushed the application form in front of me. Your academic ability is sufficient. But doing mathematics shouldn't be confined to the domestic system. You need to go out and see what the world's top minds are doing. I took the application form. Back in the dormitory. As I was filling it out, Lin Wanqing leaned over to take a look. MIT. You're going to MIT in your freshman year. It's just a summer program. Just. Shen Nian. Do you know how many people applied for this program? Worldwide. Math undergraduates from all over the world. Then I'll give it a try. You're not the type to give it a try. You're the type to go get it. I glanced at her. You seem to know me quite well. We've been living in the same dorm for half a year. You're still solving problems at 2 in the morning. Did you think I wouldn't notice? I didn't answer. April. MIT Summer Program Interview. Online. 3 MIT professors sat across from me. All in English. 40 minutes. 3 on-the-spot derivation questions were asked. For the third question, the professor opposite clearly increased the difficulty. I spent 15 seconds thinking and 2 minutes answering. After the interview ended, one of the professors asked an additional question. Miss Shen, how old are you? 19. He took off his glasses and whispered something to the person next to him. A week later, the notice arrived. Admitted. 10 spots worldwide. I am the only freshman from Asia. After the news spread, the school's official website published an article. Fang Yun sent a screenshot of the article to the dormitory group chat. Shen Nian, a first-year student at the School of Mathematical Sciences at Tsinghua University, was selected for the MIT Summer Joint Research Program, setting a record for the lowest grade level among admitted students in the program. Lin Wanqing replied, "Don't get too cocky." Tang Song replied, "Bring back souvenirs." Fang Yun replied, "Take me with you." Teacher Zhou didn't comment, only said, "Be careful." Gu Yan's reply was even shorter. "What day are you leaving?" "July 15th. I'll take you to the airport. You're going to drive 12 hours from Jincheng again." "No need. I've been transferred to Beijing." "What?" "It happened in March. I didn't have time to tell you. You've been transferred to Beijing." "Which department?" Ministry of Public Security. Ministry of Public Security. Economic Crime Investigation Bureau. Stationed in Beijing. I stared at the phone screen. He was transferred from the Provincial Public Security Department to the Ministry of Public Security, because of his contributions to the Jincheng College entrance examination cheating case. Or, forget it. It doesn't matter. What matters is that he is in Beijing. July 15th. Capital Airport Terminal 3. Gu Yan drove me there. There was something new in his car, a photo clipped to the sun visor on the passenger side. That photo was taken at the entrance of Tsinghua University. It was taken secretly with his phone on the day I reported. The back view of me pulling my suitcase through the school gate. I stared at that photo for a few seconds. He followed my gaze. Oh, that one. Who told you to take that? The way you walk is beautiful. This was the first time he had said something like that. I didn't respond. When we arrived at the departure hall, he helped me push my luggage to the counter. Let me know when you arrive. Okay. Call me if anything comes up. Boston winters are very cold. No. You went during summer break. But MIT keeps the air conditioning on low. So bring an extra jacket. You've been there. I went once on a business trip. Your business trips really cover a wide range. He fell silent. I took my boarding pass and turned around. I took 2 steps. Shen Nian. I turned around. He stood still. Hands in his pockets. I'll be waiting for you to come back. 3 words. Just like the good on New Year's Eve. Very light. Very heavy. I waved at him. Then I went through security. Without looking back. But after sitting down at the boarding gate, I sent a message. Wait for me to come back. He replied with an That's summer. The sunlight in Boston is different from that in Beijing. It is dry, bright, and carries the moisture of the Charles River. MIT's math building is an old gray-white structure. 10 undergraduate students from around the world, along with 2 MIT professors, conducted 2 months of research together. The topic was computing invariance on high-dimensional manifolds. Pure mathematics. The most abstract. The most detached from reality. Yet the closest thing to the underlying logic of the universe. The first week. All 9 people were adapting. The language. The pace. The way of thinking. Only one person hit the ground running from the start. A student from the École Normale Supérieure in Paris. Named Pierre. A genius. Not the Chinese-style Gaokao prodigy or competition prodigy. A true genius nurtured in the European mathematical tradition. Steeped in the blood of the Bourbaki school. In his first seminar, he spent 20 minutes presenting his ideas. The entire room fell silent. Then he glanced at me. Any comments? I stood up. Walked to the front of the whiteboard. Spent 10 minutes pointing out a flaw in his proof. And then another 10 minutes providing a fix. After the fix, not only did his proof hold up, it also extended to more general cases. Pierre stared at the whiteboard for a long time. Then he turned to me. What's your name? Shen Nian. How old are you? 19. He nodded. From that day on, he would always ask for my opinion first in every discussion. It wasn't out of politeness. It is respect. 2 months later, the summer program ended. The research results of 10 people were compiled into a paper. The paper was published in the Journal of the American Mathematical Society, one of the top 3 journals in the global field of mathematics. 10 people co-authored it. The supervising professor, as the corresponding author, wrote an acknowledgement section. One of the sentences read, "We especially thank Shen Nian for her remarkable insight on the construction of invariants, which fundamentally shaped the direction of this paper. We are especially grateful to Shen Nian for his outstanding insights into the construction of invariants, which fundamentally determined the research direction of this paper." After the paper was published, news spread throughout the Chinese mathematics community. A Tsinghua University freshman published a JAMS paper as a co-first author. This was unprecedented in the Chinese mathematics community. After returning to the country, sophomore year, things began to feel different. Not academically. Everything is going well with my studies. Professor J. I Hengshan officially accepted me as his undergraduate advisee, a tradition in Tsinghua's mathematics department where outstanding students are assigned advisors starting from their sophomore year. My first independent research project has already been initiated. MIT also sent an email asking if I am interested in going there as an exchange student in my junior year. Everything is on track. But other things. I stood by the dormitory window, looking at a piece of news on my phone. Former Deputy Director of Jincheng Education Bureau, Zhao Guowei, sentenced to 6 years in first trial. Former Vice Principal of Jincheng No. 1 Middle School, Chen Shuheng, sentenced to 4 years and 6 months in first trial. The verdict is in. Finally. The verdict is in. From June to October. 4 months. I forwarded it to 3 people. Teacher Zhou replied with 2 words. Fair. Lin Wanqing replied with a period. A period. It means the end. Her uncle's matter had weighed on her for over half a year. The rift within the family. The gossip from outsiders. The pointing fingers of others. But she never once complained in front of me. Gu Yan's reply came 2 hours late. The case is closed. The days ahead are yours. I stared at those words. The days ahead are mine. For the first time in 18 years. No welfare home. No rental apartment. No Chen Shuheng. No leaked exam questions. No conspiracy. Only mathematics. Only Tsinghua. Only. I thought about it. Only the person I want to become. Junior year. MIT exchange program. An entire semester. In Boston. Before I left. Gu Yan took me to the airport. In the car. How long will you be gone this time? 4 months. Last time it was 2 months. This time it's 4. Next time. Will you not come back at all? I glanced at him. Are you jealous? He looked straight ahead. Stating the facts. I'm coming back. Yeah. I come back every time. He didn't say anything. But there was a faint, almost imperceptible curve at the corner of his mouth. So fast it was almost invisible. But I saw it. Just like that almost imperceptible nod he gave me back in the exam hall. 4 months at MIT. I completed my first independent paper. On the partial verification of the Hodge conjecture on a certain class of special manifolds. The Hodge conjecture, one of the 7 Millennium Prize problems in mathematics. I did not solve it. No one can solve a Millennium problem in their junior year. But I gave a complete proof for a specia. L subclass. The paper was submitted to Inventions Mathematicae, one of the world's top 4 mathematics journals. 2 months later. It was accepted. This time. It is not a joint signature. It is a sole author. Shen Nian. A single name. When the news reached Tsinghua, Professor Ji Hengshan, for the first time ever, gave me a call. Shen Nian. Do you know how many undergraduate students in the history of Tsinghua's math department have published an independent paper in the top 4 journals? I don't know. The first one. I was silent for a moment. Thank you. Don't thank me. Thank yourself. He hung up the phone. I was sitting in the MIT library. Outside the window was the Charles River. Someone was rowing a boat on the river. Sunlight glimmers on the water. I NLY recall that 8 square meter rented room. I remember that bowl of instant noodles. I think of that message. Withdrawn on the eve of the college entrance exam. I remember that dark red thin string in the examination hall. I remember what teacher Zhou said, a person's choices prove who she is. 5 years later. 2029. Tsinghua University doctoral graduation ceremony. I stood on the podium in my black academic gown. Thousands of people were seated below. When the president read out the list of outstanding graduates, the first name he called was mine. Shen Nian. School of Mathematical Sciences. Ph.D. In 5 years. He published 14 SCI papers, including 3 independent papers in the 4 major mathematics journals. He received funding from the National Natural Science Foundation of China's Young Scientists Program. He has been appointed as the youngest associate professor at the School of Mathematical Sciences. Tsinghua University. The applause was thunderous. I stood on the stage and saw them in the audience. Fang Yun sat in the 3rd row, clapping vigorously, her mouth wide open. Tang Song sat beside her, smiling and taking photos. Lin Wanqing, dressed in an architect-style white shirt, nodded slightly from the 5th row. She is now a partner at an architecture firm, 26 years old, and has designed 3 landmark buildings in Beijing. Further back. Teacher Zhou was sitting in the 4th row from the back. He is thinner than 5 years ago. Half of his hair has turned white, but he sits very upright. There is a person sitting next to him, Professor Ji Hengshan. 2 teachers and students sat side by side. One had taught middle school OL physics for a lifetime. The other had been a professor in Tsinghua's mathematics department for 40 years. At this moment, their students stood on the same stage. The last row, a seat near the exit, Gu Yan, wearing casual clothisa dark blue shirt. Sleeves rolled up to the forearms as usual. There was nothing on his left wrist. Completely clean. The scar had long since disappeared. He looked at me. I looked at him too. Across thousands of people. But it felt like we were separated only by a single desk in an exam hall. The CE. Ramoni ended. I walked up to Teacher Zhou. He stood up. Shen Nian. Teacher Zhou. Associate professor now. How much is the salary? I laughed. Enough to eat. Enough is enough. He patted me on the shoulder. The force was very light, as if afraid I would break. But I have never broken. Never. At night, Teacher Zhou and Professor Ji went out for dinner. Fang Yun dragged Tang Song to sing karaoke. Lin Wanqing had a project report to present and left in a hurry. The campus gradually quieted down. I stood on the lawn in front of Tsinghua Auditorium. On a June night. The air was filled with the scent of gardenias. Footsteps came from behind. I didn't turn around. Gu Yan walked up beside me and stopped. The 2 of us stood side by side, gazing at Tsinghua University in the night. Congratulations. Associate Professor Shen Nian. Don't call me that. It feels weird. What's that called? Just call me Shen Nian. You've always called me Shen Nian. He didn't say anything. There was a moment of silence. Shen Nian. You're 23 this year. I'm 31 this year. 8 years apart. Don't you think it's too much? Too much of what? He looked into the distance. When you were 18, I went undercover in the college entrance exam hall. When you were 19, I drove 12 hours on New Year's Eve to bring you a meal. When you were 20, I took you to the airport. When you were 21, 22, 23. What are you counting? How long I've been waiting? I turned my head to look at him. He turned his head as well. His expression was hard to make out in the darkness. But his eyes were very bright. 5 years. From the exam hall to now. Do you know what I've been waiting for? Yes. And what is your answer? I thought for a moment. Do you know about the Hodge conjecture? I don't understand matters of mathematicians. One of the 7 Millennium Prize problems. For 100 years. No one has solved it. So, I plan to spend the next 40 years solving it. What does that have to do with me? 40 years is a long time. I need someone to bring me meals every New Year's Eve. He looked at me. Every year. Just delivering food. After delivering the food, I turned my head away. No longer looking at him. My voice softened considerably. Stay. The streetlights on the lawn cast 2 shadows side by side. One tall, one short. At a certain moment, the shadows merged together. The night wind blows. The scent of gardenias is strong. The June nights in Beijing are beautiful. Like a problem finally solved. The answer is not complicated. But it was worth the long wait. When Teacher Zhou later learned about this, he only said one sentence. Gu Yan, that kid, has finally come to his senses. 10 years later, 2039. Shen Nian, 33 years old. Professor and doctoral supervisor at the School of Mathematical Sciences. Tsinghua University. Winner of the National Outstanding Youth Science Fund. Twice recipient of the 2nd prize of the National Natural Science Award. Achieved a major breakthrough in a key subproblem of the Hodge conjecture. With the paper published in the Annals of Mathematics. Hailed by the international mathematics community as the Shen Nian construction. Chen Shuheng was released from prison. It is said that he now runs a small restaurant in Jincheng. No one goes to eat there. Zhao Guowei has also been released. It is said that after The divorce. His son refused to acknowledge him. In the end, he went to another place. And no one knows where he is. Liu Zhengyang passed away 2 years ago. Before he left, he donated a sum of money to the mathematics department of Tsinghua University, not much. Just 30,000 yuan. Designated purpose: to support undergraduate students in the mathematics department who come from financially disadvantaged families. Professor Ji Hengshan called to tell me about this. I was silent for a moment. Accept it. Don't you hate him? He wasn't the mastermind. He was being used by someone. Then who do you hate? I don't hate anyone anymore. Really. I really don't hate it anymore. Better to solve problems than to waste time hating. Teacher Ji laughed on the other end of the phone. You're starting to sound more and more like Teacher Zhou. Jincheng No. 3 Middle School. The top-tier class has long been free of charge. There are many people signing up. Teacher Zhou is still teaching there. 52 years old. Rejected all opportunities for transfer and promotion. He said he was only fit to be a homeroom teacher. Every year, on the night before the college entrance exam, he will send a message to each student. The content of the message is the same. Tomorrow, when you enter the exam hall, don't be nervous. Do your best. Your teacher believes in you. There is no secret code. There is no red string. There is no trap. There is only a teacher's most simple expectation for their students. One winter, I went back to Jincheng to visit Teacher Zhou. I brought Gu Yan along. We had hot pot at his place. Halfway through the meal, Teacher Zhou suddenly put down his chopsticks. Shen Nian. Those books from your childhood at the orphanage, the ones donated by Lin Wanking, there was a book on advanced high school math competition lectures in there. Wasn't there? Yes. On the title page of that book, Lin Wanqing wrote a sentence. I know. Hope everyone has a fair starting point. Right. He picked up his glass and took a sip. Do you know why she wrote that sentence? I don't know. Because I taught her that sentence. I was stunned for a moment. Did you teach her that? She attended a city-level math lecture once when she was in junior high. I was the speaker. After class, she came to ask a question. And I casually said everyone is equal before mathematics. The starting point should be fair. She remembered it. So she wrote that sentence in the book, and donated it to the welfare home where you were. I looked at Teacher Zhou. You knew all along. I always knew. Shen Nian. You thought you walked this path alone. But you never really did. He poured a glass of wine and slid it toward me. Some help you in the light. Some help you in the shadows. Some help you with a book. Some help you with a message. Some pay a price. Some ask for nothing. This isn't luck. This is. What is it? This is you deserve it. He raised his glass. To you. And to all who deserve fairness. I raised my glass and clinked it. The liquor was very strong. But what rose in my throat was not the burn. Gu Yan silently ate a slice of tripe on the side. He didn't interrupt. But under the table, he gave my hand a squeeze. Very tight. Then he let go. Later, the first doctoral student I supervised at Tsinghua has graduated. A girl, named Lu Xiaohe, from a remote county in the southwest. Her family was poor, and she relied on student loans to finish her undergraduate studies. On the day she received her doctorate, she bowed to me. Professor Shen. Thank you. What are you thanking me for? For taking me on. At the time, all the other advisors looked down on my undergraduate university. But you agreed after just reading my thesis. Your thesis was well written. But no one else bothered to read it. I looked at her. I thought of something a vice principal said many years ago: rules are rules. When you have students of your own. Just look at their minds. Don't look at their backgrounds. She nodded firmly. I stood by the office window, watching her walk out of the math building. Outside the window was Tsinghua's Ginkgo Avenue. Autumn has arrived. The leaves are golden yellow. My phone rang. It was a message from Lin Wanqing. A photo. It was her latest Designa library. The shape was very unique. Like an open book. Built in Jincheng City. It was built right next to the rental apartment I lived in back then. Guess what this library is called? I glanced at the small text at the bottom of the photo. Starting point library. I laughed. Cheesy. Mind your own business. It's my design. So I call the shots. When is the opening day? Next month. Are you coming? I'll be there. Bring Gu Yen along. He donated 200,000 for the renovation and doesn't even know it yet. He donated money. Anonymously. But I found out. He won't admit it. He never admits the good things he's done. Just like you. I turned off my phone. A ginkgo leaf fell from outside the window, twirled in the air, and landed on the windowsill. I picked up that leaf. It was very thin, very light, but golden, like a long past, hot June. An 18-year-old girl. On an answer sheet, I wrote down my name. Shen Nian. 2 characters. Neat and tidy.